What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Hopefully everyone is having a great day. So we finally have some Terrifier 4 information, and it's not just speculation. It's not all of us just guessing on what we may or may not see for Terrifier 4. Will Terrifier 4 be the last film? Is it possible we could get a part 4 and a part 5, and that's where the conclusion would happen? But we finally have some information from the source himself. The creator of Terrifier has now come out and is telling us a little bit more about what's going to be happening and what we can expect for Terrifier 4. So as you see from the headline here, Terrifier 4 will reveal Art the Clown's origin, an emotional and satisfying conclusion to the saga. So two things we're taking just from the headline alone. One, we're getting a bit of an origin story for Art, and Terrifier 4 will be it. It will be the final sequel to the franchise. This is where the story will be coming to an end. So the speculation on whether or not there will be a fifth film, whether or not Terrifier 4 will be a two-parter, I think this answers it. Damien has come out and even shared, we have here a bit of the picture that he shared on social media for Terrifier 4. But let's get into some of these details. So it says today, this came out 17 hours ago. So today is Damien Leone's birthday, but the Terrifier creator is celebrating with a present for fans. The script for Terrifier 4 is underway and is shaping up to be the most epic, horrifying, thrilling, emotional, and satisfying conclusion to the Terrifier saga, he writes on Instagram. I've personally never been so excited to see one of my own scripts translate to the screen like this one. He adds, I will finally reveal Art's origin in this entry. David Howard Thornton and Lauren Lavera are expected to return as iconic villain Art the Clown and final girl Sienna Shaw, respectively. Leone launched the Terrifier in 2016, followed by Terrifier 2 in 2022. Terrifier 3 opened up at number 1 at the box office last October, becoming the highest grossing unrated film of all time. The latest, and this tells you can get Terrifier 3 on digital physical media, and you can stream it on Streambox as well. And then here is the picture, as you can see from Instagram, the social media post he had for Terrifier 4, and this is what he writes down here below. So we're going to read this real quick. I don't think there's any more to this article, but we'll read what he says here. Thank you all so much for the amazing birthday wishes. I'm truly blessed to know so many wonderful human beings I met as well. I might as well take advantage of this day and give you all, the Terrifier fans, a little present in return. The script for Terrifier 4 is underway and is shaping up to be the most epic. We've read all this already. I've personally never been more excited about my scripts coming to the screen. Where that P.S. I will finally reveal Art's origin in this entry. Thank you all again. So we have it right there from the man himself. Terrifier 4 will be the final film in this franchise, and we're going to get some of Art's origin. Now, here are my concerns, non-concerns, just things as a fan. I hope either we don't see or possibly changes going into this final film. Obviously we know Sienna Shaw was going to be a pivotal part in this final one, especially on how Terrifier 3 ended. Now, I'm all for getting a bit of Art's origin story. I'm all for that. Now, this is where I think it can get kind of tricky. You have a lot of ground now to cover, in my opinion, in this final film to close out many of the questions we've been asking since Terrifier 2 about Sienna, about her dad, the sword. Now her cousin Gabby is involved and fell into the pit of hell in Terrifier 3. So again, you have a lot of ground to cover, and there's even people who believe Sienna's brother wasn't killed in part 3. I believe he was killed. I thought they made that abundantly clear at the end, where they pretty much killed off the rest of Sienna's family, excluding Gabby, who again fell into this pit, falling into hell. So outside of the two of them, the rest of her family is dead. Now, I don't want to see us. When we get people or films telling origin stories, especially in a film, I feel we do a lot of jumping back and forth, where the story, the current present time story you're trying to tell and bring to conclusion gets very muddy and just starts to jump around a bit too much, where your audience not so much gets confused but starts to lose interest in, like, wait a minute, keep going with the present day story. I'll keep going with this. It makes no sense to jump back in time and show me more of Art's origin story. Now, I mean, I'm sure he knows what he's doing. It's his franchise. He's been very successful at creating this franchise and making it a success. Again, as a fan, I just don't want to see too much jumping back and forth between the Art origin story and this. Otherwise, I think there's an opportunity there to say, don't tell Art's origin story completely. If you want to just go back a little bit and just show how he maybe the last half or last part of how he got to be where we know Art to be today, and then do a spin-off film. Do a spin-off film called Art the Clown, and then tell the origin story, and then have that film end where the first Terrifier film picks up. I think that would be a perfect way to tell Art's origin story and add a spin-off to this franchise while closing out the Sienna Shaw kind of story since Terrifier 2 solely in Terrifier 4. That would be my thoughts on that. Now, the other thing I don't want to see with this is I don't want to see the same humor injected into this film as we saw in Part 3. I know many people enjoyed that. I think the vast majority of people enjoyed the humor aspect that was inserted in there, that was placed upon Art the Clown himself. Personally, when I saw it, and I've seen it now I've seen it now 3 times. I saw it once in theater. I've watched it a couple times afterwards just to kind of go through it again. And for me, the comedy feels out of place, not just for the film, but for the character. I didn't necessarily care for it. I could have done well without the humor aspect, because when I look at Terrifiers 1 and 2, you don't see the humor aspect in Art the Clown. You see him being what he is, Art the Clown, a serial killer, gore fest, hard to watch kills. Yes, we got that in Terrifier 3. I just don't, the comedy fell flat for me, didn't hit for me. And I think when I went and saw it in theaters, not many, I mean, there were a few people that laughed at what was happening, but the vast majority of people weren't laughing. And maybe that was just because the jokes just weren't hitting for them as well, or they were just too enthralled into what was going to happen next as a result of whatever Art was doing. But that's just my take. I don't want to see comedy in this next film, especially this being the last film. And again, my opinion would be is dabble in the origin story, tell the origin story a little bit, but I would love to see him focus 75-80% of the story on the current day story where Terrifier 3 ended, closing out also Sienna's overall arching story and all the open questions we have about her dad, all the history. And then again, once this film comes out, I'm sure it's going to be a success. I'm sure it's going to make more money than Terrifier 3. I'm sure it's going to be unrated as well. He won't sell out to the studios. And if anything, I would bet to guess that this will also get a wide theatrical release because of the success of Part 3. And then while that is in theaters, or once you finish this one up, do a spin-off origin story, Art the Clown origin story, or Art's origin story, or whatever you want to call it. But I think that would be the perfect place to tell that full story. And again, end it where Terrifier 1 begins. That's just, that would just be my thoughts on that. But looking forward to seeing this final film, looking forward to seeing the franchise come to a conclusion, because again, we have, and not because I'm glad we won't get any more, but just because I feel there's a lot of unanswered questions that some of us were expecting to get in Part 3, which they didn't give us. They just kind of gave us more questions to be asked on, especially on Sienna's part for her character. So, all right, everyone, that's going to do it for this horror news update. I just want to say a quick thank you to all the new and existing subscribers. Thank you all for the support. It is greatly appreciated. And if you haven't done so already, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It helps us out. We're just a small growing channel here at Reign of Horror. And let us know down in the comments section, what do you think about this news? Are you happy that we're only going to be getting one more Terrifier film? And I say happy in the perspective of that it's not going to keep drawing out and almost feeling like, okay, we're taking this now too far, let's bring it to a conclusion. Or were you hoping to get at least 2 more films? Were you hoping to see at least Terrifier 4 and a 5 to be the final conclusion film? And also let us know what you think about the fact that he's going to be inserting Art's origin story into this final film. Again, let us know down in the comments section. Otherwise, we'll see you at the next one. Peace.